All right, come on in, everyone who's settling in. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Art in the Basin. All right, there are people here. Yes. All right, we, as you know, are having our season finale, I like to call it. Yeah, all right. We'll be back in October. But until then, let me introduce the man who will guide you through this hour. Please help me welcome author of 4 novels, including my favorite second acts. Check them out. They're on Amazon. I think so. He's also an all-around good neighbor and once known as the minor god in the Chicago poetry scene. Help me welcome Tim W. Brown, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out. Yes, this is our last show of the season, our 8th year here at Amour Coffee and Wine. We'll be back in October for our 9th season. So do please come back this fall. We'll have another dynamite lineup of poets and writers that will appear. I wish I could tell you who some of them are, but I'm not sure that we know yet. Anyway, thanks again for coming out. We have a really great writer here tonight, Amy. We'll get to her in a moment. I'm going to read this kind of cold. Didn't have a chance to look up some poems on poemhunter.com, which is, you know, the source of a lot of the poems I read here at Art in the Basin. It's a great resource. Poets on every theme imaginable by poets famous and not so famous. This is a famous poet, Edith Sitwell. Now, have you, like me, been really annoyed by the nonstop rain the past month or 6 weeks or 2 months, however long it's been? I was out in Indiana, actually, over the weekend. I drove back from Indiana on Sunday, and every single minute of my trip, it was raining. And then the next morning, when I left in Pennsylvania to drive the rest of the way home, it was raining the entire trip on that route also. And then it was raining all day today. I'm actually grateful that the sun has come out and made it more inviting for people to show up here at Amour Coffee and Wine. Anyway, this is Still Falls the Rain, and yeah, it's still falling. So here goes. Still falls the rain, dark as the world of man, black as our loss, blind as the 1940 nails upon the cross. Still falls the rain with a sound like the pulse of the heart that has changed to the hammer beat in the potter's field and the sound of the impious feet. On the tomb still falls the rain. In the field of blood where the small hopes breed and the human brain nurtures its greed, that worm with the brow of Cain. Okay, a lot of biblical allusions here tonight. Still falls the rain at the feet of the starved man hung upon the cross, Christ, that each day, each night, nails there have mercy on us, on Dives and on Lazarus. Under the rain, the sore and the gold are as one. Still falls the rain. Still falls the blood from the starved man's wounded side. He bears in his heart all wounds, those of the light that died, the last faint spark in the self-murdered heart, the wounds of the sad, uncomprehending dark, the wounds of the baited bear, the blind and weeping bear when the keepers beat on the helpless flesh, the tears of the hunted hare. Wow, what a cheerful poem we're reading here tonight. But yeah, it's been raining, so hey, you know, makes me gloomy. Still falls the rain, then, oh, life, leap up to my God who pulls me down. See where Christ's blood streams in the firmament. It flows from the brow we nailed upon the tree, deep in the dying, in the thirsting heat that holds the fires of the world, dark, smirched with pain, as Caesar's laurel crown. The sounds, the voice of one who, like the heart of man, was once a child, who among beasts has lain. Still do I love, still shed my innocent light, my blood for thee. Whew, wowee. That was a slog. I just picked that randomly, by the way. Yeah, anyway, I was in Indiana, as I mentioned, over the weekend. And speaking of the cross, on I-70, just east of Richmond, Indiana, really on the border between Ohio and Indiana, there is a 150-foot tall lighted cross that you can see for like 20 miles. Insane. And it was on the property of the Uranus Fudge Company.
Yep. Yes, Bud Company.
I'm not kidding. This is an actual place. I had to check it out once I saw it advertised. They claim that the best fudge comes from Uranus.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And also another slogan of theirs, packing fudge since 2015. Now, I thought when I started seeing the billboards, you know, like 20 miles away, I thought, gee, is this a scat cult? But no, it's an actual candy emporium, tourist trap on I-70, Uranus Fudge. I bought some fudge. I don't know. Peggy had some. Was it okay? Not so good. Very sweet. Well, you know, out in Indiana, they like things sweet and full of carbohydrates.
Potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow, that was my weekend. Let's get to the event at hand. Just like I want to introduce a writer that will be up here in a moment. Amy Gottlieb's debut novel, The Beautiful Possible, was a Target emerging pick and finalist for the Ribalow Prize, Wallant Award, and National Jewish Book Award. Her fiction and poetry have been published in On Being, Lilith, Ilanot Review, hopefully I pronounced that correct, Paper Brigade, Bloomsbury Anthology of Contemporary Jewish American Poetry, and elsewhere. She has presented her work and taught at the Canberra Writers Festival, Sydney Jewish Writers Festival, San Miguel Writers Conference, among other venues.
San Miguel.
She is the recipient of several Brio Awards from the Bronx Council on the Arts, as well as fellowships from the Zika Institute and the Community of Writers. Everybody, please welcome Amy Gottlieb.
She Jewish.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Amy Joy, for this wonderful invitation. And thank you all for coming. So I write both fiction and poetry. So tonight I'll read some poetry and a little bit of fiction. But I'd want to start with a poem to sort of set almost like an invocation for the evening, because we're living through such a bewildering, upsetting time in this country. I'm opening with a brief poem by Ukrainian-American poet Ilya Kaminsky that expresses how we hold on to joy and art in the midst of troubling times. We lived happily during the war, by Ilya Kaminsky. And when they bombed other people's houses, we protested, but not enough. We opposed them, but not enough. I was in my bed, around my bed, America was falling. Invisible house by invisible house by invisible house. I took a chair outside and watched the sun. In the 6th month of a disastrous reign, in the house of money, in the street of money, in the city of money, in the country of money, our great country of money, we, forgive us, lived happily during the war. So thank you, Ilya Kaminsky. This has a much different tone. This is a very, very short story, also known as flash fiction. For those of you who know me, the first paragraph may make you think this is actually fact, but you will quickly see that it is in fact very much fiction. Exile. By the way, can everybody hear me okay? Okay, great. Exile. Okay. My mother died 2 years ago, and I inherited her blind old dog, Kobe, and enough textiles to fill a museum. After a lifetime of refusing the lure of crafting, I squander hours with needle and thread, marking ragged trails on vintage cotton napkins. The lines aren't straight, the stitches aren't even. I examine my mother's quilts for inspiration, but her stitches were tiny, precise, perfect. Her hands soft and patient. I can't wait to finish so I can start the next little ditty and add it to the stack of ditties. If vintage cotton napkins were poems, I'd have a collection 3 times over by now. If they were pages of a novel, I'd be ready to revise. My cotton napkins have no value, but the hues of the thread, amber, turquoise, crimson, make my heart sing. When we spot a mouse, then 2, then 4, the super inspects our apartment and finds a massive hole behind the dishwasher. A squirrel could climb through that, he says, possibly a raccoon. He patches the hole, we lay traps, and in the morning find 6 dead mice, but we know there are more. I roll a blanket beneath our bedroom door and tell my husband if a mouse gets inside, I'm taking Kobe and riding the subway until all the mice are gone. A mouse doesn't enter our bedroom, but one night I spot a gray mass streaking across the rug. I think of Poe's shadows and James's figure in the carpet, an illusion, a figment, a spark of imagination. I tell my writing students to watch these moves. What you perceive reveals your habit of mind. I jump out of bed, my eyes scoping the rug for another gray flash. I summon my mother's voice. Let it go, smarty pants. Pick up your sewing and calm your nerves. If the flash were a real mouse, you'd see it again. The next night, I lie beside my husband. All better now, he says. No more mice. We're good to go. Good to go where? I ask. Anywhere we want. That night, I dream of my students and their stories. Their sentences unravel in the night sky, words glowing like stars. My Zoom student, Anne, writes poetry about the DP camp where she was born. I see the buttons of her threadbare coat. Her mother's steady hand rests on my cheek, lulling me back to sleep. If a gun is placed on a mantle, said Chekhov, by the end of the story, the gun must go off. After a mouseless lull, a brown bullet smaller than my palm dashes across the rug. I jump on the bed and scream, rattling my husband. We'll catch it, he says. It's hiding now. Go back to sleep. But it's too late. I stuff a fresh direct bag with my needle, threads, vintage napkins, a change of underwear, several books, and a supply of dog food. I place Kobe in his stroller and keep my promise. All day and night, I ride the F train from Coney Island to Jamaica in an endless loop. Every few hours, I get off at Union Square to walk the dog, and every morning I sip coffee at an outdoor cafe, eat a sandwich on a park bench, wash my clothes at the laundromat, and shower at a friend's yoga studio. The subway is our new home. Kobe sleeps in his stroller. We encamp in the seats at the far end of the train. I don't smell, but a woman wheeling a blind old dog on the F train arouses suspicion. A man in a tailored suit hands me a dollar bill. I offer him one of my stitched ditties, and he says, "What a perfect gift for my wife." This scenario happens again and again. At times, the recipient speaks in an accent and graciously bows in appreciation. I let children pet the dog, and when someone asks for a sewing lesson, I demonstrate how to rock the needle through the cloth and explain how a tiny metal thimble is a mighty protector. My husband doesn't know where I am. I left my phone at home. I'm not sure of today's date, but I know the seasons are passing. Kobe is frail now, but I am keeping him alive. I ride the subway and I stitch. I give away what I make, and I make more of what I can give. So after this, I'm going to return to the F train. The following two sonnets owe a debt to the poet W.S. Merwin, one of my lodestar poets. This one is called Forest Bath. You that sang to me once, sing to me now. Find me on the forest trail where the Hudson mirrors the sky, smooth as onion skin paper. Sing to me with the cadence of the ancients as they set off on a journey, lacing up their golden sandals, inviting enigma. Walk with me across a bridge of words. I'll share oranges and rye bread as the dog saunters along, oblivious to the wonder of our reunion. You were gone a long time, but I won't ask you about the lions in China or your voyage back from the other world. Stay, old friend. Sing to me while my footsteps are still steady beneath the trembling canopy. And this is the second sonnet, Singing in the Night. Lightning struck the locomotive in the mountains, showering sparks and shards into the valley. My army boots were still new, but I ran fast, said the old poet at the end of his long life, the pockets of his robe swollen with letters from the woman who had waited for him. His daughter assumed this was his final story, and she waited for grief to shower down. But he reached out and said, "Listen, child, I would live it all over again, all of it, even the war that weakened me with dysentery. Do you understand how we're held so briefly on this earth? Your mother waited for me with her guitar and a song about red poppies." So the Frick Museum recently reopened in its original location. And this poem takes us back to the time when the Frick and all the museums were closed, and we were home in lockdown, ordering groceries and pondering the bewilderments of life. Color wheel for the time of pandemic. Today, the groceries arrived and I'd ordered too much feta cheese. Something red would have been nice. Raspberries, beets, cherries. The museums are still locked and I'm craving a single hour at the Frick to visit Bellini's St. Francis in Ecstasy and the brown rabbit that peeks out from the bricks just beyond the saint's right hand, ears pulled back, alert, curious, timid, concealed and revealed within and without. At the Jewish cemetery in Pitigliano, the groundskeeper guided me to the grave of the marble girl who rests on top of her tomb, her tiny feet crammed into little marble shoes. Just beyond the hill, a brush fire burned and the groundskeeper walked away, and I thought I'd be lost in the smoke, alone with the marble statue that looked so alive, her plump arm leaning on a marble pillow, her ashen curls springing around a face that is neither living or dead. But as the sky darkened, we belonged to each other in our aloneness. I never told this story before. I needed the couplets and I needed the rabbit because I was scared, and writing a poem is like playing an accordion. Open, compress, tilt, release. Because raspberries, beets, and cherries ease sadness. Because we cleave to our hungers, spinning on the breath of an imperfect God. So this next poem is probably my most well-known poem because it was picked up by Krista Tippett's On Being website soon after I wrote it. And back to the subway motif in my life, I wrote this on a stalled one train, returning home from a lecture on the Upper West Side about the Jewish holidays. The reasons for liturgy. Because the woman on the subway wore red pants and a hospital bracelet and sat alone. Because the train stalled at 137th Street and the woman wanted to be home in her bed. Because my husband stumbled upon a broken clay pot and threw out the baby ficus with the shards. Because my son cried, "Where's my ficus?" I watched its first sprout, dreamed of each new leaf. Because my son and I rummaged through the trash bags in the basement recycling room. Because our gloved hands groped pizza boxes, milk cartons, crumpled tissues. Because the words in my notebook offered no comfort on the stalled train. Because a painting is titled, "Sadder Than a Single Star That Sets at Twilight in a Land of Reeds." Because my son and I scoured 20 bags of trash and we didn't find the baby ficus. Because the rabbi said, the spiritual life takes place between the difficult and the impossible. Because everyone on the train was dying and living at the same time. Because every year we recite Avinu Malkeinu, translates our Father, our King, to summon God who has no gender. Because we pray to be renewed, and 3 weeks later, we are exactly the same. Because my son and I hugged in the elevator and the stench of rubbish lingered on our skin. Because the woman on the subway was reading a Russian novel. Because the title of the painting is sadder than the painting. Because words deceive, but prayers are here to stay. Because the train began to move and the woman's shoes were the color of a robin's egg. Because of all this, God of forgiveness, pardon us, forgive us, grant us atonement. So this next poem was written on the last day of a week-long poetry workshop in which the participants had to turn in a new poem every morning. So there was a little bit of desperation because at midnight, you're wondering what you are going to turn in. And by the way, the instructors, who are well-known poets, had to play along as well. So everybody was in the same boat. So this was I think my second to last poem for the week. Marigolds. You must leave everything behind except these poems and the cluster of marigolds you picked after the rain made them pop into small golden tigers. You came to this valley to be changed, to dig your nails into the orange, to release its fruit, to uncover what lies beneath the shell of habit. You tried to make it new, just as Ezra Pound taught, quoting a Confucian king who had those words inscribed on his wash basin. But the radio streamed classic folk, and you stole a refrain about invisible covenants, our lives threaded like vines within a cosmic tapestry, and you got high off the metaphor, as if you were dancing in the arms of Leonard Cohen, who said, "If your life is burning well, poetry is just the ash." One evening, you spied a golden speck in the sky, which looked nothing like a small tiger in a field, just a flash of firefly, and you chased it with your open jar, as if poetry were a child's game, as if an image could be tamed. You went on like this for weeks, for a lifetime, fiddling with words, mostly getting it wrong, until you read Rumi's lesson about the field that lies between right and wrong, freeing you and the small golden tigers to serve the imperfect art of making things. On your last day in the valley, you shot the remaining arrow in your quiver when you ended a poem, "I love you," summing up everything you came here to say. So last month, I had the great opportunity to travel to India for the first time. So this is a very new poem, and I wrote this on the road through my journey and revised it when I got home. Last day of April in Dharamsala. The primary colors of a child's crayon box canopy the trails, festoon the roads, garland my dreams. Soon these prayer flags will fray, shred, and rest on the ground with pine needles, cow dung, bottle caps, and dust. Soon I will strain to recall this very morning on the hotel patio, so precious and singular, the shriek of the monkey, the bee in the rose. Soon I will stand on a balcony in Manali and receive the cool mist of a Himalayan rain. Soon a rickshaw driver will pedal me to the edge of the old Delhi spice market, fenugreek and chili scorching my nostrils. In the haze of a long night at the Indira Gandhi Airport, every traveler will bear the beams of 1,000 graces in stark relief to the beggars I passed on the streets, limbs akimbo, hair matted with dirt. Soon, yet so late in the day, I will become silent, wrapped inside a question that has no answer. Soon I will return home to my familiar ceremonies. Soon I will forget to cry. Soon this day will morph into night, and tomorrow's monkey will be a different monkey, the bee, not this bee. So wake up, schoolgirl. On this last day of April in Dharamsala, you must learn again how the heart is the aperture of the eye. Now look, here is the monkey, here is the rose, here is the bee. So thank you. Now it's your turn. So
So everybody, please give it up once more for Amy Gottlieb. Wow, wonderful stuff. Appreciated that poem about India. Certainly a more exotic location than Richmond, Indiana, even with Uranus fudge. But thank you for that. For those of you who are watching us online, we are live streaming on YouTube, as we always do. The video will be available, I guess, later tonight or tomorrow morning or something like that. Now, okay, it's just being saved as we speak, I guess. I don't know. It's like the eternal save. Just anyway, we're here live at Monomoore Coffee and Wine, 238th Street and Broadway in the Bronx, New York. I do have some information about next season. Oh, thank you. I forgot that. Next season, we do actually have an opening reader on October 7th. we return to Amour Coffee and Wine with Cheryl J. Fish, a poet and fiction writer, lives in New York City. She's done, I think, a couple of workshops for Art in the Basin. Very talented writer. She did a workshop, I guess it was last fall, if I remember right, maybe earlier this year, I sort of forget, on high bone poetry, which I didn't really know much about, but I wrote 2. So, you know, anytime I write at least one decent poem during a workshop, then you know it was a good workshop. And, you know, so she'll be here reading and not leading a workshop. So do join us on October 7th. Yes, October 7th. We'll be back here at Amour Coffee and Wine. Don't fret, though, even though tonight is the last word for the season. We are going to be back, Art in the Basin, for a couple of dates this summer. I want to just tell you about right now. On Monday, June 30th, Art in the Basin will be the opening act for Film Works Alfresco, which is held every Monday during the summer. It's an outdoor film series sponsored by Inwood Artworks at the Hudson, which is formerly the Dyckman Marina, the end of Dyckman Street in Inwood. So please do check us out. We have on the bill music by Town Crier, poetry by old friend of ours, Nico Diaz, and finally, a special guest, Felicia Villanueva, the Westchester County Poet Laureate. Starting time is around 6:30, and then the film that evening, This is Spinal Tap. More info at inwoodartworks.nyc. And finally, on July 12th, Art in the Basin will be presenting for the first time at the New York City Poetry Festival on Governor's Island. We're at 11:30 a.m. on the White Horse stage. There's multiple stages with concurrent poetry going on for 2 days, July 12th and 13th. We are going to present Bronx Poet Laureate Kay Bell, Miss Flyvita, an old friend of ours, and another old friend of ours, Michael Stegman. So please do check it out. More information at NewYorkCityPoetryFestival.com. Okay, now we have some open mic participants tonight, both here in the room and on Zoom. That rhymes, by the way. Let me just remind you. So let's see, who shall we have first? Oh, I see Ron Mark over there. Ron Mark, you want to, are you on the list here? You says yes. Okay. Well, no, you know, we have like the Hudson and the Poetry Festival, so yeah. Everybody, please welcome another old friend of ours, Ron Mark.
That's what I did. You're welcome. Woo! Oops, sorry. Look at the unlocked. Here we go. Hello, everyone. So yeah, happy summer. Out in the Basin is going to be on summer break. I guess the Basin gets too hot during the summer months. But Amour will be open, so keep coming here. You know, great coffee, great snacks they have. I really appreciate it. So on that note, I'm going to read Happy Summer. And by the way, Amy, you were amazing. Oh, brilliant. It's good to see you again. All right, very short poem. Goodbye, spring. Welcome, summer. Welcome, heat and humidity leashed upon us. Happy garbage stinking out of the bags and cans late at night. Happy summer. Happy people wearing shorts and sandals in the subway. Happy summer. Happy oven hot subway cars, and we as commuters walking between train cars to find the one that's still air conditioned. Happy summer, right? Happy hot asphalt, too hot to walk on the street. Happy summer. Happy taking a shower in the morning, then getting ready to go to work, then getting drenched in sweat as soon as you leave your apartment building and step out in the air. Happy summer. Happy writing new poems and wanting to perform them, only to realize that Art in the Basin has closed shop for the summer. And I need to wait until the fall to read again. Happy summer. Happy looking at the weather forecast and only seeing 90s and 100 degrees. And wishing so badly it would snow. Oh, how I miss winter. Happy summer. Happy smiling, happy sweating, happy long days. Happy making the best you can in the next months. Everyone, happy summer. That's it from me. Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody, Ron Mark, thanks so much for coming out. Always great to listen to Ron and his humorous take on things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Why don't we hear next from Stan, another longtime friend. We won't say old, we'll say long time. Meantime, yeah, you can find us at our various social media outlets on YouTube, where we're live streaming. We're Art in the Basin. And on Instagram, we're Art in the Basin. And on Facebook, we are AITB-Art in the Basin. Hey, here comes Stan, everybody.
During one of my Bronx memoirs, the Bronx Memoir Project teachers. During one of my classes with Bronx Memoir Project, they said, write some haikus about our lives. So here are some quick ones. Just Nina and me. Special night came Stephanie. Whole new reality now. That's haiku number one. Sorry, did I not screw something up? Or is the haiku number two? Old school is problem. We moved to Riverdale. Much better school now. And this one is about work. Big wig spires a bet. Job is painful every day. Way to retire. And finally, for the heck of it, if I met a gal and we began with a kiss, how far would we go? Yeah. Very brief but enjoyable, I guess you would say.
Sorry.
Thanks so much, Stan. Really appreciate it.
It could be more like cool for the relative.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Longer it takes to write.
That's right. I don't know how that works, but it's an actual true statement. Peggy, are you going to read anything? We didn't get you on the list. Okay. Meantime, Peggy, why don't you look for that? We'll have Nina up. Everybody, Nina. Another old, or excuse me, long-term friend, long-time friend of Art in the Basin. Ron Mark was correct. We'll be gone this summer, but Monomore Coffee and Wine will still be here. So please do.
Thank you.
Nina.
Hi, can you hear me? You guys? Okay.
Yep.
Good. I have two songs for you. Both of them are in Hebrew. Do di li vani lo haroem shashoshanim. Do di li vani lo haroem shashoshanim. Mitateinu yamitar mitatalo. Mitatenu, that's one. The other one is called the Erev Shoshanim. Erev Shoshanim, Netzei Natan Yisbar. More than party, light overhead, of Shoshani,
Thank you, Nina. Really lovely. Thank you. Okay, Peggy, you have your poem ready? Yes, no? Oh, yes, we have a yes. Everybody, Peggy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have a background on?
So you want Amy Joy to hold the mic?
One second, please. Because maybe. Nope. One last hope. A woman. Was everything underlined? Do I have nothing but typos? Tonight, I am as drunk as a rodent in a pig pen. I cry hysterically. Being back in the ocean of quarks would be better. Better than this lifetime of self-excoriation. Curled up like a baby who never knew touch. Lovely with the colors of paprika and poppy seed. If only I could bawl my last breath, I would be grateful. How I pine to return to the infinite, the time before the egg and the sperm met. I lost my sense of hope. That day, so long ago, they dressed me like the Michelin men. The first time I saw snow, all that was warm was gone, like compassion. It's a real thing I have lost. I have roamed my city's bedrock, 900 million to 1.1 billion years old. There is one outcrop in Central Park that has a marker, a corkscrew of a hook-like thing, out of which the early city built its grid. The sadness of losing its whereabouts is bitter. I refuse to find it again alone through Google and GPS. I do not want to crumple into a rodent in the fetal position, mewling for its long dead mate among the inquisitive tourists. Can I do one more? No. Variation on the same crap. That'll do.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Peggy, thank you, Peggy. Rare appearance reading tonight. Thank you so much. So I guess our final open micer here in the room anyway. And he's an AITB encourager, by the way. Everybody, Eric.
Woo! Yeah. Eric.
Sound setting in Zoom. The microphone is attached to here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is on.
Okay. Blinded by the light here. So it's always wonderful to be here. I'm going to miss you for all the summer. I do not know what I'm going to do with myself, except to come here and buy some more Highlight IPA beer, which is really good stuff. Anyway, I'm going to play a song called I Always Make the Same Mistake, recently reorchestrated. So we'll see how that happens. That's as loud as it gets, huh? Ah! I always make the same mistake. You think I would have learned by now. I always make the same mistake. You think I would have learned by now. You think I would have learned. I always get burned. You think I would have learned by now. The love I'm giving never is returned. You think I would have learned by now. I always make the same mistake. You think I would have changed by now. I always make the same mistake. You think I would have changed by now. I can never tell who's on the make, who's for real and who's a fake. I always make the same mistake. You think I would have changed by now. I always make the same mistake. I should have wised up by now. I always make the same mistake. I should have wised up by now. They always play me for the fool. Oh, so sweet, then oh, so cruel. Should have wised up and done a prenup. I should have wised up by now. I always make the same mistake. I should have caught on by now. I always make the same mistake. I should have caught on by now. I always make the same mistake, and I can hear them talking at my wake. He never caught on. He never wised up. He never changed. And he never learned. Too late for him to do that now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have some technical difficulties. Hopefully you can hear me, but I think it's we want to call up one more reader, but we don't have any video right now. Almost. Okay. Okay. It's still showing me. Okay, she's still working on it. Oh, there we go. All right. Welcome back, people.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can see what's going on here. We have like a goofy, blurry background, however. There's more stuff here. Well, there's another. Okay.
We can see you, Tim.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Claudia will come up next. I suggest standing pretty close because otherwise you turn into like a blur.
Oh, it's one of these. Okay, let's see if I yes. All right.
Hey, Claudia.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right.
Oh, there's a giant hand in there.
So I have got a character monologue. It'll eventually be part of some larger piece, play, or a short story. I don't know what that looks like yet. But I want to write more for this character. I thought this character was fun. I wanted to write more for them. I have never performed or rehearsed this yet, so we're doing this new. Right. Right. I had said that my dad was a horrible little rat man. Pat had said that wasn't fair. Said it wasn't fair to rats. Rats are social creatures that cared for each other. Pat talked like that whenever he could. All cutesy and jokey, like he thought he was in a sitcom. Could you imagine if Pat wrote for a sitcom? He'd write some stupid little robot sidekick. Oh, God, Pat would love this stupid AI shit they're shoving down our throats these days. He'd love to have his own little assistant or whatever. Oh, he'd set it to some wacky voice or have it do some jokey bit and think he was so clever for it. Fuck Pat. I'm glad he died.
Wow, okay. Well, tell us how you really feel. Yeah, thank you for that, Claudia. That was hilarious. Thank you. Yeah, that will go somewhere. Yeah, AI, right? That's all like work.
Claudia.
I'm trying to listen to it.
All it is just basically a big-ass database that has a lot of text that searches quickly. That's basically it. But they make you think it's like some special deal. It's not. It's just a big ass database. But anyway. So it's time now to welcome our Zoom friends. So we will, if you give us one moment, we'll come back with the Elegant Ivory Duo. The Elegant Ivory Duo, incidentally, will also be at the Jesus Christ, man. I haven't lived there in 23 years or something. I'm still like substituting for actually where I really live. The Elegant Ivory Duo will be at the New York City Poetry Festival. Maybe they'll say something about that when we get them converted.
Oh.
So give us 1 second while we get the sound and picture set up.
Should we say anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say something.
Okay.
I'll do the introductions.
Okay, well, we are audible now. So if you talk, they'll hear. Hello. Hello, everyone. So can you all hear us now?
Wait, we're not up.
I don't know. I think we are, aren't we?
Are we on now?
Yeah, we're on now, I think. Can you hear us okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So nice seeing everybody. It's always a wonderful experience coming here and supporting other artists. Yes, and we will not be at the Poetry Festival this summer. Doctor's orders. I have a number of surgeries, including getting cataracts cleaned up and some other things. However, we will be here tonight. New York City is one thing about it. It's not a quiet city, generally speaking. It's a city of noise and disruptions, and we're going to sing a song I wrote just about that thing. So I'm going over to the piano.
He's going over to the piano. Okay. I leave for work. Motor quickly towards the bus. Crass car horns blare. Impatient drivers start to cuss. Their radios blast. Thumping bass lines make me shrink. Yeah, life's a laugh a minute. I can't hear myself think. Down by the tracks, where the subway preachers preach, trains shake my brains. Brakes crowd a painful screech. All that rumbling and grumbling, clanking wheels make my heart sink. Yeah, life's a laugh a minute. I can't hear myself think. In the gritty city, there's a maddening crowd. Sirens act like tyrants, wish I had a shroud. Construction workers pound away on busy streets. Where's my cloaking device? I've got to retreat. Later, I grab lunch. Soon the crowd begins to swell. Clamor surrounds me due to noisy clientele. Old piped-in love songs. Hear the tone deaf try to sing. Yeah, life's a laugh a minute. I can't hear myself think. Winter time means ho, 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 and howling snow. Springtime means lawnmowers roar and crows caw, caw, caw. Nightclubs in the summertime blast out the hits. Fireworks can make our brains start doing splits. Sports bars in the autumn fill our heads with noise. All that's left to do is hold our ears and scream, "Oi!" A sonic boom. A jet is somewhere overhead. And soon I realize my hearing is nearly dead. If I try to hide like in a closet in a manner rather slink, it's still no use. I can't hear myself think. Someday when I'm long gone and I'm grabbing extra winks, it's then I'll never again need to hear myself think. But for now, each day when I begin it, I smile but later grimace when noise pushes me to the brink. Yeah, life's a laugh a minute. The total can be infinite. Yeah, life's a laugh a minute. Whenever I can't hear myself. I can't hear myself. Yeah, life's a laugh a minute. I can't hear myself. Think, what's that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, this hair in my face. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Elegant Diver, he's right here. Oh, hey, Tim. Hello.
Could you hear us?
Uh-oh, we can't hear you. Tim, you're not muted, but we cannot hear you.
Oh, maybe the sound never got recorded.
Uh-oh. Oh, Tim, we cannot hear you.
There we go. Thanks. Sorry about that. The mic was on mute. Thank you, Ron Mark, for pointing that out. So anyway, I did say, I don't know that they heard me, the Elegant Hybrid Duo. I saw them in May last month at the Dance of the Word. Always a great time. Lovely venue and lovely people and great poetry and dancing by belly dancers and music and you know, it's just it's an experience. So please do check it out. Next time around, it's probably going to be like in July or August or something. But
August.
We'll let you know. If you do follow us on our social media, we'll post something about it once we hear. Anyhow, we want to, well, actually, before we move on to the final sort of benediction for the evening, I just wanted to acknowledge and toast our co-host with the most, Amy Joy Robichaux.
Amy
Joy does all of the businessy kind of stuff, and she handles sound and video and so on and so forth. She really is the brains behind the operation. I am just merely the talent. Anyhow, let's bring Amy back up to do the Art in the Basin benediction.
Thank you. So this is Amy Joy's poem. And it reads, and if you know it, please join in. Amy Joy, it's your poem, so. Lead, love at the helm, take me to an unseen realm. In it I'll dwell under sacred spell, waving until your gaze sets still. Love, lead the way. Everybody have a great summer, and thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Can I add ask you to say the word let. We're going to do, Tim, I need you. So we're going to do the last 3 words. It's usually let, love, lead, okay? So I'm going to be love, and you're going to be lead.
And I'm going to be let.
And you're going to be let.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Let.
Love.
Lead.
Okay, en toi, everybody. Let, love, lead. En deux, toi.
Let.
Love.
Lead.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Amy Gottlieb. For the last word, Tim W. Brown as our host. Thank you so much. Everybody, you guys know that I like to switch things up. Well, I haven't switched it up in a while, but I like leading. Okay. So we're going to start with lead and end with love, and we're going to put let in the middle. En toi, okay? So it's lead, let, love. Wait, no. Yeah, we're going to end with love. Yeah. Anyway, so en toi. En deux, toi. Lead, let, love. That's right. Lead with love and let that love in and out. Thank you so much for 8 years of fun. Looking forward to the 9th season. Hopefully one more will have us back. And thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
That's it.